Hello, friends, benders and non-benders alike. Welcome to Braving the Elements, Nickelodeon's podcast about all things Avatarverse. I'm Janet Varney.
And I'm Dante Bosco. And Varney, today I'm feeling a bit combative.
What?
Yeah,
What are you talking about? What do you want? You want to fight your best friend in the whole wide Avatarverse?
No, Varney, I can never fight with you, but as long as you agree that, there's some good folks in the Fire Nation.
I'm never going to argue that.
Okay, so it's just that I think it's great storytelling to always have a conflict between good and evil.
Yeah.
Or even between good and misunderstood.
Uh-huh.
Like some of those folks in the Fire Nation. Some of those good folks from the Fire Nation. But I think that the conflict and the combativeness.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Yeah, combativeness? Sure, why not?
That makes great storytelling. That's the best, like Avatar, like these gray areas. You know what I mean?
I totally agree.
Yes.
I totally agree. In the world, Avatar and the Last Airbender and Korra are very often used to give examples of like some of the best, most interesting conflicts in storytelling. And like certainly that has a lot to do with the adversaries in them.
Right.
They're complicated, they have a lot of layers.
Which is why I want to spend a whole episode talking about our adversaries in books 1, 2, and 3, but I don't think we should do it alone.
I couldn't agree more, and I have a great idea for a guest for this. Absolutely, because, it has to be someone with a level of love and knowledge of the Avatarverse that is worthy of these great adversaries that we are talking about.
Right.
But we have just the person. Don't even worry about it. Let's welcome Ethan Schultheis, the creator of the Amagi, an animation-centric YouTube channel. It's got nearly 2 million subscribers.
Wow.
And I would say besides the official Avatar: The Last Airbender YouTube channel, he has like the next biggest channel that covers Avatar on a recurring basis. He's huge.
Is he a
And he's doing
PhD in
amazing
Avatar?
work.
Is he a PhD?
I would say he may have eclipsed us before we even met him as a PhD in the Avatarverse. Ethan, what's up?
Welcome to the show, Ethan.
Hey guys, thank you for having me.
Oh man, thank you so much for coming.
Wow, we watched some videos. You have an immense knowledge of the show, and you even go past it with fanfic and create other layers. It's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, how did you get started doing edits? Like, was there a certain show or a certain like other YouTube channel that you watched that you were like, wait a minute, like I like this, but I could take this to the next level. Like, tell us about yourself and kind of how you came into this.
Yeah, so like my introduction to YouTube is very much actually intertwined with like my introduction to like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Nice.
Wow.
So I was actually like obsessed with Avatar as a kid. Like I can't even like explain when I first got introduced to it. Like if I feel like I was like born into that generation where it was like always there. So I can't even remember when I first like watched it for the first time, but like I was super into it, and my parents, they knew that. So when I was like in middle school, they got me like these DVD sets that had like the behind the scenes commentary, kind of actually what you guys do on this podcast.
Sure.
Right.
But like that's when I realized that cartoons, they aren't like just spawned out of nowhere. They're actually like people actually working to create them. So like that became like my dream, like childhood job, was to be something in the animation industry. So I remember I hunted down Nickelodeon's email address when I was like in middle school. Like it was very, very young. I don't even know what I tried to do, but like I found their email address and actually tried to pitch them a show idea when I was like very young. Unfortunately, they didn't even respond back, because I bet have even not even found Nickelodeon's email. It might have been some rando. I don't even know.
Right.
But like I didn't take no as an answer. So like I then signed up for an online animation course, and I spent that next year learning to animate and trying to create my own show. Like I voiced all the characters myself. And then the show was called The Amagi. I don't know where the name came from. I didn't really know where to post it or do with it. But then around that same time, I was introduced to YouTube. And I was like, okay, why don't I just create a channel called The Amagi named after the show? And I posted the first episode on there. And unfortunately, the first episode didn't really do very well. So I kind of got a little bit demotivated, because I spent like a year doing all that and like getting like 30 views or whatever it was. I was like, okay, maybe time to pivot a little bit. So I spent the next few years just posting kind of whatever I was into. Like I did theater for a little bit, so I posted like cover songs on the channel. When I went on like a family vacation to Disney World, I posted like restaurant reviews. Like it was the most like sporadic content ever.
Love it.
But
You haven't seen my YouTube channel. You haven't seen my YouTube channel.
You think you know sporadic. We understand.
Yeah. So like, but then I slowly grew it to like 1,000 subscribers, and when I was like I think like a freshman or a sophomore in high school, that's when I started seeing other creators posting about Avatar: The Last Airbender on their channels, and then I was like, well, I post whatever I like, so why don't I start posting about Avatar too? So
Yeah.
I posted the history of lava bending, and it was like total luck, but I posted that video right before Avatar was added to Netflix, and it was
Wow.
just like the perfect time ever. And like for whatever reason, like the algorithm, they just ate it up, and it got like 1 million views, I think, within like 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And
Were you like, is this a mistake? You're like scratching at your screen, like, hold on, maybe I'm not reading the number right.
yeah, I could not believe it. And like even after, I thought it was like a fluke. I was like, okay, this will never happen again. But I posted an Avatar video, it did well, so I just did it again, and I don't think the next video was nearly as big, but it was still like definitely a lot bigger than what I was getting before. So I spent the next year posting like only Avatar content. And I posted like 150 videos in the year. It was like
Wow.
borderline
Oh
every other day.
wow. Okay.
And it was
That's
like
a lot of
only
work.
Avatar. Yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
then, like I had 1,000 subscribers, and at the end of that year, I think I was around like 300,000. So
Wow.
Avatar literally got me from like nothing to like being somewhat of like a situated creator.
Avatar helped make the Amagi.
I love it.
It did. In like 2 different areas too. I mean, I created the channel out of my love of Avatar, trying to create my own animated show like it, and then later on down the line, it actually found success by covering Avatar.
Right, it's amazing.
So like, I owe my career to Avatar very
Hey,
much.
Aw.
well, you have so many different edits and so much stuff on Avatar. You must know the whole show, like frame by frame. You
Like
must have-
as well as the editors and the creators
you
of
must
the
have
show
a
do.
library in your mind of like certain scenes and milliseconds of certain things that you may want to use in the future or have used already, right?
Yeah, like I'm gonna be completely honest. Like I edited all my videos for like the longest time. Recently, I've been fortunate enough to be able to hire editors. So like recently, like I've been able to have them be a little bit more observant. So I might be
Nice.
a little bit rusty on my knowledge, but I do think like I know Avatar fairly well.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a test, so don't worry. This is definitely not. This is not one of our trivia games.
Except in
although-
book 2, in episode.
I know. In minute 5 of episode 6. No, but listen, we may tap you for a trivia episode.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
It sounds like you could probably pull some pretty deep cuts.
Yeah.
We always worry when I'm doing the questions, I'm always like, how easy or hard is this? And I have lost all track of how easy or hard something
She's
is.
stumped us. She's stumped the guest quite a few times.
I have, but then sometimes then you'll see like the next trivia game after there was too much stumping.
Right.
I'll come back and then the
easy.
guests are so polite.
Like,
They're
what?
just like, let me pretend to
It's a
think
turtle
about
duck.
this. Her name was Ursa, Janet. Her name was Ursa. We've already talked about this before the question even got asked. So it's always, listen, we're always just like reacting to our environment.
Yeah.
We're figuring out what works. But you've got that. It's all tucked in there. So I'm glad that you're able to like take a step back and have more of a team of people to help you make this stuff.
It's great.
'Cause that's the number one thing that like successful creators, YouTube creators that I talk to are like, dude, it's a lot of work. Like if you think it's
Yeah.
not, don't fool yourself.
You're
because
tripping.
you work really hard on this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And like for the longest time, were posting like hour-long plus videos daily. And like I could not do that
Wow.
myself
Oh my
100%. So like the team definitely helped like increase our output by quite a bit, which is I think also what caused us to grow even further.
Yeah.
So like it's a team effort, 100%.
That's great.
Well, shout out to your whole team then.
100%. And like there's a lot of kids out there today that I heard this podcast where there's so many kids that want to be influencers. It's like one of the biggest things that what they want to do, but a lot of kids don't understand the amount of work it takes for all these influencers to scale what they're doing, the amount of work they're doing, shooting, editing, writing. And so someone like you can help. You're like, hey, it's great, but it's not as easy as, it's not like I'm just going around posting like a video
Totally.
of myself. That's not how it works.
Yeah. And what about storytelling? Like, is this going to give you a chance also to kind of think about like, do you still want to create new stories and world build and work in character stuff like that? Like, how are you feeling about the thing that kind of incepted all of this? Have you carried that with you?
Yes, 100%. I mean, like, I think like the most time-consuming part of like when I first tried to create my own animated show was like, which I no longer consider myself an animator anymore. That's like a thing of my past. But like, I mostly just enjoy the storytelling aspect of it. So then when we discovered this new niche of like, we call it what ifs. It's kind of like fan fiction.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're able to like kind of like create our own
great.
versions of the show without having to like animate it ourselves, because we kind of just like line up the lips with like the characters from the show. We find
Right.
like corresponding like clips and all that. So we're able to like, I feel like, still do the storytelling aspect that we and I personally enjoy without having to like animate it completely ourselves. So I feel like that is something that has been carried on over the years as well.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, listen, we all know that there are many times where Zuko wondered, what if he had captured the Avatar? So
Sometimes you
you're
wonder
giving
that.
people, you're giving people
Alternate
a peek
universes.
inside. Exactly right. Exactly right. And so, do you have favorite episodes? Like, as you've come through the process of doing these edits and loving the show so much, do you have episodes where you're like, oh, I could always sit down and watch blank, you know?
Yeah. I think my favorite episode's probably the Day of Black Sun, I think is what it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Where,
Okay.
like, I just really enjoy, like, normally, especially in like children's cartoons, like they really don't let their like heroes have massive losses. And like Avatar, like they did that. Like, and going into it, like I was 100% expecting that to be successful. So like as a kid, so I mean, like seeing like the characters like go through a massive loss,
Right.
like that was just I still enjoy watching watching characters lose. It sounds so bad, but like I just
That
enjoy
makes sense.
because I'm watching something different, because that's like very like not typical, especially in like animation. So that's
Right.
definitely my favorite episode. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the gang lost, but the Fire Nation kind of won.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about? By that time, you don't want the Fire Nation
I don't
to
want the
win.
Fire Nation to win, but I'm just saying, you know.
He can't. Old habits are hard to break. I guess they die
you know,
hard.
it's
They
just,
die
you
hard.
know.
Yeah. Well, you know, my theory about that, Ethan, is even though this doesn't make any sense because Azula already knew everything and it was going to be what it was going to be, I'm worried that they were wearing eclipse glasses, which means that they couldn't really see anything because
Right.
that's not really how eclipse glasses work. So I'm always a little worried that they're just stumbling around in the dark going, why can't I see anything
Right.
through these glasses?
And the eclipse happened recently, so it's
Yeah.
all, you know, that was a pretty dark time. I saw it not in California, but in other
Yeah.
parts, like in Texas. I don't know. In
Did you get to
Milwaukee, were
see
you
the
at?
full eclipse,
Was there a
the
full
solar
eclipse
eclipse
going on?
earlier this year?
Nah, not. I tried to see it, but it wasn't a full eclipse. But I did see it, and I also saw that like Avatar was trending on Twitter during that time too. Like it's crazy that like the community
It
came together
was,
for that
I'm
too.
sure. Like,
Yeah.
It was the day of the
Yeah.
Black Sun.
People were talking about that. We just did a live chat not too long ago, and people were like, remind us what this eclipse does to people's powers. We're like, dude, you're in an Avatar chat. You
I know.
what it does.
People are trying.
You know
people are
exactly
trying
what
to
it
text
does.
me and tweet at me on that day. I'm like, don't bother me. Not the.
I'm losing all my powers.
It's not
for a few
Fire
minutes.
Nation Day. All right, I'm in hiding.
That's right. It's definitely not Fire Nation Day. Okay, so Day of Black Sun, great choice. What else do we want to know from our
Well,
friend Ethan?
in your watching of the show several times, do you have any favorite hybrid animals, Ethan?
Ooh. So this is very like subjective, and I feel like it's very personal to me. But like personally do not like insects or like even like scaly creatures.
Right.
So like that eelhound, for example, like no, that's not like a favorite of mine. That's like nasty.
No.
to
I
me.
hear you. I hear you.
The
But so
crawlers.
They're
Fast
more
though. They're
cuddly.
very fast.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I like the more
that's-
cuddly ones.
You do.
Cuddly.
Okay.
What are we talking? What are we talking? What's your favorite? What do you think?
So I'm thinking like the saber. I think it's the saber-tooth moose lion.
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Like the baby, like
The
that
puppy.
is the most
The
cutest.
pup.
Cuddly
The pup. Yeah.
poops.
Yeah.
So cute.
So cute. Like me grows into kind of.
yeah.
Yeah, it gets a little
Not
creepy after
as-
a little bit.
You know, it has the advantage of us seeing young versions of it. We see really cute young turtle ducks. We
Right.
see really cute little baby foo-foo cuddly poops. But we don't get the advantage of seeing like really adorable tiny platypus bear cubs.
We
I bet
don't.
those are
We
really
don't.
cute too, right?
We saw it as an egg.
We saw it lay an egg. We
Yeah.
saw it as
Oh,
an
yeah.
egg.
We saw it as an
We
egg.
did not get to see that egg hatch. We saw the egg get eaten.
A friend of mine, he has a pig, and when the pig was small,
Please don't say it laid an egg.
no,
I
it
won't
didn't
know
lay
what
it.
to
It
do.
was so cute. It was so cute. Like, oh, that's a cute little
Oh,
pig.
yeah, that's what
And now
happens.
it's big.
Yeah.
And it's got like thick hair and like hooves, and it's not.
I'm gonna wager a guess that it always had hooves.
It just the hooves weren't that prominent as a baby, and now I don't really like animals with hooves in the
Uh-huh.
house.
In the house, that's a little odd. Do you have any pets, Ethan?
I have two dogs. I have not a puppy anymore, but like a 1-year-old golden retriever and then
Oh,
an
that's a
older
good-looking
an
dog.
older Shih Tzu. Yeah.
Oh, you got a Shih Tzu. Okay,
Shih
yeah.
Tzu and a
Do
golden
they get along with each
retriever.
other?
The golden retriever tries to play with the Shih Tzu, and I don't think he knows what's happening. I think he thinks he's being attacked because he's always like scared of the retriever. So
Yeah.
they try to play. I don't think it works out too well though.
Maybe he's young still, so maybe your golden retriever is like just still puppying around a lot.
Rambunctious.
Yeah, and the Shih Tzu's like,
Rambunctious.
hang on, you're bigger than me. Hang on.
Wait.
Makes sense.
Hopefully,
That
Timid's
makes
down
sense.
over the years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet it'll mellow out.
Ethan, we're gonna get into some heavy questions here. One of the heaviest, maybe. What is your favorite ship in the Avatar verse?
Ooh. Okay, this might be a little bit controversial.
Let's
Here
hear
we
it.
go. Here
I've always been like a Zutara, like
Yeah.
Forever.
always ship Zutara.
Five ever.
5 ever, 6 ever,
Six
7 ever,
ever.
10 ever.
I mean, it's it's an understandable ship. I also
A lot of
ship
people
Zutara.
understand that.
I mean, as we're watching the show, I'm kind of looking at different things, but I mean, there's still like all these like little. Kind
Dude,
of,
I ship Zutara, and I am a lover of Katang.
Katang's
But
cool
I gotta
too.
be true to my heart. And in the moment, I can talk canon and
Right.
fully understand it. And you guys know,
And
I love
canon
our two
is cool.
dads. I am
100%.
completely committed to and accepting of all of the choices. I just am, because I know that it's a lot easier to be critical than it is to make a thing.
100%.
So like, I accept it and I love it and I get it.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that I don't ship Zutara, because I do.
Totally, but I think they get it too. There's hints.
They do get it.
all throughout the show.
Well, how
where
many
they-
writers have we talked to that were like, I
They all
wanted
get
it to
it.
be Zutara?
So we can see it. So yeah, shout out to Zutara. Another Zutarian out there, you guys. Another Zutarian.
Another Zutarian.
Do not.
It's a good
tweet
community
at
out
us
there.
or
But
yell
also,
at us,
all love to
Katangers.
Katang. I don't like conflict. All love to
love-
Katang. We get it.
Katang is great, and Mako's great.
Yeah, Mako's great.
Yeah, Mako's great too. So
I love. Yeah, listen. I don't want to be left out in the cold. Let's bring them all in.
Let's bring them all in.
I love it. Okay, well, that is a good answer. Do you have other peripheral ships that you like other characters in the show that you enjoyed the ships of?
I feel like I'm more or less like kind of what ends up happening. Like I like Sokka's Suki.
Sokka
I don't know if they
Suki.
ended up together though. I'm not really sure. I don't think they ended up. Well, I don't know if it's actually been revealed. But and I obviously like I still like Katara Aang. Like I still would prefer Zuko Katara, but like I accept it. And
Right.
yeah, I mean, I'm more or less aligned with what the creators have decided for
Yeah.
the ships.
You know, I wanted to do. There was a time when I really felt like I could do some good matchmaking with some of the peripheral characters. Like, let's find someone for Aunt Wu. She doesn't seem like she needs anyone, but like,
Yeah.
maybe someone takes her out and give her some beautiful flowers once in a while. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe
Ooh.
Zhong Zhong and Aunt Wu can get together and have some, just like
Zhong Zhong would
maybe
be
he would
great.
be. She would be good for him because he's a tortured soul. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, Jet and Katara.
Here we go. Watch out. Jet came to play. Well,
Jet
let's save
Katara.
him. I think we should talk about him. When
Oh, we got some
We got to
time.
talk about him in this episode for sure.
Oh, we definitely got to talk about some Jet.
But what about what kind of bender you would be, Ethan?
I can guess.
Ooh.
We have
Oh,
a guess
guess.
based on, well, there's a guess because you have the sign of we have your logo behind
Yeah.
you. And there's some fire in that logo. So I think a certain someone is
There's
kind
some
of hoping
Fire
that
Nation representation.
means something.
in the
means
Amagi.
something. But
I could be
in
wrong. We
talking
could
to
be
you-
wrong.
But in talking to you, would I peg you automatically as a firebender if that Amagi sign weren't behind you? I don't know if
I
I,
don't
would.
know.
So I feel like we're still
Yeah,
wide
I don't
open.
know.
Talk to us.
Okay, yeah, I would honestly not be a firebender. Probably not. Like, I do not feel like I'm very much of like
What?
aggressive, like fiery. Like, I don't see myself as that. I view myself more as like an airbender, more of like a passive.
I see it.
I
I see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see it.
Like,
yes,
I
yes,
could
yes.
possibly see myself being a water bender, but
I
I
could
personally
see
just
it.
don't like water. I hate like being wet. Like that's my least favorite thing. Like being in the rain.
interesting.
So like
No
that's
rain.
why I'm,
No
I'm
rain.
not a water bender.
Is Milwaukee landlocked? Where's that at? Wisconsin?
Milwaukee gets some serious
Don't laugh
moisture.
out there in the world. This is a deal. Geography for Californians is
Yeah.
hard.
Certain
We
California.
got the Great Lakes though, so we're next
Yeah,
to like
you got
Michigan.
plenty of water. You got plenty of water. Maybe some say too much water. Like
Barney
you might think
said
too much
certain
water.
Californians.
Now, listen. Let me ask you this: how many badgers have you seen? Have you ever seen a badger in your life?
Only in the zoo. Only in the
Never,
zoo,
right?
like-
But he
Okay,
has
never.
seen a
Okay,
real
you
one.
did see one. Who has a badger in
My
a zoo?
takeaway of
A
book
badger's
three.
not- badger's
My
not a zoo animal.
The takeaway of book 3 is that Dante thinks badgers aren't real.
I'm not saying they're not real, but
No.
there's a lot of badger talk, and not a lot of people in the world have actually seen a badger with their naked eye.
Yeah.
Remember, I saw a badger stuffed animal
Not
even when I
real.
was at a shop, and
Not
I couldn't
real.
wait to send it to be like, look, they even make stuffed animal badgers. That's how real they are.
Hold on a second.
But I also haven't seen a live teddy
Wisconsin
bear.
has badgers, huh?
Yeah.
That's a
They're
mascot
out
for
there.
Wisconsin University.
Yeah.
But it's
Yep,
a
it is.
cartoon badger. It's a
Yeah, it's
cartoon
a
badger.
cartoon one.
Sure.
I have never seen one in the wild before.
No
It could be
one's
a
seen
fake.
them. How can we talk about these badgers all the time? And they only exist like Scooby Doo.
I am making a promise to myself, to you, and to all of the cabbage heads out there. You and I are going to be somewhere together, and I am going to orchestrate an in-person
saying,
meeting with a badger.
Barney, if there was a badger in a police lineup, I doubt any of us could pick it out.
And yet, if a badger were your adversary, I kind of think I would win.
Maybe.
They're tough. They're
I
very
hear
tough.
they're bad. The honey
a
badger
good
is
adversary right there.
death-defying for sure. But I'm just saying it's like one of those animals, like
Yeah.
the Roadrunner. We think we know what the Roadrunner is because we know Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. But if we saw it in a lineup of other birds, we might miss it.
We will not miss it if we're from Arizona. That is the state bird. I see a lot of roadrunners.
That's a
but
state
you're right.
bird?
They look nothing like the roadrunner.
Right.
They are
Who
not.
drew
They
that?
are not dark blue, light blue,
Who
and
approved
yellow.
that? Who approved
Yeah.
that drawing?
Man, you are feeling combative today.
I am combative.
You are feeling combative today. It's working for us.
That
it's
badger's
working
not
for us.
real. The
Our
Wisconsin
producer
badger.
Zeke is showing us the Wisconsin Badgers mascot. I mean, that's a cute, tough
Nah, he's
creature
cute. He's
right
cute.
there.
Yeah, but
He's cute.
Listen, I know they're tough. I like an animal that's a
They're
little tough. So do
tough.
you. You like Fufu Cuddly Poops. You know that.
mean-
you know that Fufu's gonna
Badgers. Their name is an adjective or a
Yeah,
verb.
that's why we use it.
A verb and an adjective.
It's
a
almost like
verb.
badgers are real.
Badgers, they are a verb to badger thing.
That's right.
They're not real.
So are weasels. Don't weasel your way out of this conversation.
Weasels
it's
are
not over yet.
also-
It's not over yet.
Verbs.
Okay, so you're an airbender. I see it. I got to tell you, I see it. I see a sweet Aang face in
That's
front
cool.
of me in a way. You know what I mean? Like if you shaved your head, you'd look adorable. No pressure.
All those
you have
people,
great hair.
all those people claiming to be airbenders, book, Avatar. I mean,
Yeah.
first series. There's not a lot of airbenders out there.
Yeah, that's why we got to repopulate.
There's not a lot.
Shout out to all the airbenders out there. We got to repopulate.
We gotta repopulate.
Thank goodness.
We need some more.
Thank goodness. I wonder what caused them to be so few.
I don't know. There were not that many.
What are your thoughts on the Fire Nation's annihilation of the airbenders? Ethan, your turn.
Ethan.
I feel like that was a little bit
Extreme.
aggressive, a little extreme. I mean, like, I think they knew that Aang was going to be younger. So, I mean, sounds even worse, but like maybe they could have just like wiped out only a portion of the population. I feel like it was a little bit extreme to like wipe out the entire population.
You're
Maybe I think there
right.
were a few
You're
stray
right.
ones, but,
It could have been a
yeah.
Almost
biblical
like it
thing
was
where they're
just-
only taking the young people.
Almost like
Yeah,
we're
we could
doing it
only
for the
kill the
fun of
kids.
it. Yeah.
You're like-
None of this is good. Everything we're saying, you're right, Ethan, it is worse. But I understand your logic, and I agree that seems like there's a reckless abandon
Right.
and a gleefulness to it that is very scary. But as we know, that does not mean the entire Fire Nation is
course
like that.
not.
It doesn't mean like they
No,
were always like
that was
that,
only
and
some
it
of
doesn't mean that
folks.
that's how they end up. So
There's good
the
folks
good
in the
news
Fire
is-
Nation. We're
and
going
you
to talk
gotta-
about some of them today.
And you got it. Yeah, no, we are. And you have to learn from your history. You have to, there's going to be bad. So the only way to learn is to have the bad and to learn from it and
Right.
to make the conscious choice to be like Zuko and to be like, I don't want that.
I know.
I want the opposite of everything I grew up around. And that's really important too. And that's,
And
how are you gonna
hopefully
know
when
what
the
it
bad
is?
starts to happen, we all don't just go along with it.
Well, that's a very good point. Yeah, I
Right?
agree. Let's not do it. Like, let's stand for something. All right. So we know we've got our airbender here. We got our firebender. We got water.
We got
Can't
an
ever decide
avatar.
all
We have an
over the place
avatar over here. We have an avatar over here, Ethan. Let's not forget we're in the presence of an avatar.
I secretly believe that
honored.
everyone is an avatar. Okay.
That's exactly what the nice avatar would
That's
say.
right. Okay, so let's start kind of early in the beginning. We're going to skip over Zuko because we all know it's a little more complicated
Right,
with him.
right.
But let's start with, before we even really understand Ozai, before we realize who the big bad is behind the people we're seeing on the front lines, we meet Zhao.
Yeah.
Right?
General
He is-
Zhao originally.
He is a kind of a classic adversary, right? He's kind of mean-spirited.
Right.
He's very ambitious. He seems like he is even contemptuous of the, of the Fire Lord's son.
He has those mutton
and of
chops.
Uncle.
He has those mutton
He's
chops.
got the mutton chops. We know who plays him.
The
he
voice.
does a phenomenal job. Oh,
Jason Isaacs. I
so
mean,
good.
that voice is forever.
Oh, he's so good. It's true that for a long time after I would see him in anything, like even Harry Potter, I would be
Yeah.
like, wait a minute.
He can't help it. Imagine
that's
being in the
Zhao.
room. You're like, turn around.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it's
Yeah.
Lucius Malfoy. he just has there's something about his voice that is like,
He knows. I bet he's but you've hung out with him. He's a super nice, sweet, wonderful,
he
funny
is
guy.
super nice, but I
But
mean,
he knows how to do it.
yeah, he's good at being a villain.
Do you remember your first thoughts about Zhao? Like seeing him, and then he just keeps popping up. There he is, all of book one. Talk to us about that, Ethan.
Yeah. I kind of always viewed him as like almost like a comedic character because I feel like no matter how hard he tries, he seems to always be like not easily, but he always seems to be just like beaten by the Avatar,
right?
Team Avatar. And like I also feel like every single time he ever accomplished anything, it was like a couple of minutes later, like it once again got reversed. Like when he captured Aang, or I don't know if he should take credit for that, but whatever.
He did.
But that's one of the things he did. You're right. He took credit for other people's hard work. He was right there to
How do you
sneak
think
in.
he became an admiral? He was General Zhao, then he became an admiral, and it makes you think all these admirals.
But I like this idea of him being comedic. That kind of takes his strength away, and I think that's kind of a cool way to go.
That's until he does some unthinkable stuff like kill the moon spirit. Once he kills the moon spirit, there's no comedy there.
And to be honest, like he's not around that much longer afterwards.
No, I mean,
like we don't have to live with him having done that for that long.
He's an adversary that this could be some comedy back and forth, but then he goes, he crosses some lines.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Even within the cartoon world, in the kid watching world, you're like, what is he gonna? Is he gonna do that for real? And he does it.
I know. You talked about that, Ethan. That the appreciation of. But also the heartbreak of this show not having things go well. Because I think I felt like you, when you're talking about Day of Black Sun, that's how I felt about...
You must have liked that part, huh, Ethan?
I was like, there's no way that they're going to kill these... Like, they're going to be fine. This isn't going to happen. Someone will stop this from happening.
It's going to happen.
It happens, right?
Yeah. I mean, in their defense, like it did get reversed like a couple minutes later. But like, yeah, like that was definitely a moment where like I was expecting the people there to stop it before it even happened.
Right.
Like, especially like Iroh. I was surprised that Iroh just like stood there and let it happen too.
That's a good point.
Because he was very,
Iroh was
very
devastated. Iroh was devastated about it. And but I mean, it does get reversed, but at the sacrifice of Yue, where you're like looking at it like, and it's like, it's like losing a like she didn't die necessarily, but she's kind of gone. You're like, bye.
Mm-hmm. But when she shows up, not just in the moon form, but when you see her
it's
spirit,
true.
she's as fabulous as ever.
She is. Mm-hmm. She's always there every night. You look up, there she is.
The beautiful glow.
Haunting Sokka.
That's rough, buddy.
That's rough, buddy.
That's
for the
rough,
rest of the show.
buddy.
He can never kiss Suki at night. Outside.
She wants him to be happy. I mean, Yue wants Sokka to be happy. I hope. All right, and let's give a little shout out to some of the less present for the entire series people that we kind of come up against, because I want to give out a little bit of a shout out to the pirates. They are, speaking of comedic adversaries, I would say we could put them
those guys are
squarely in that,
ridiculous.
right, Ethan?
They almost seem like caricatures of like themselves. Like they're so over the top and like just, I don't know, just funny. So I mean, like, but they're not there very often. I think they make like 2 appearances in the show. Like they come off a little bit later.
That's the crazy thing about the world. There's all these people that bend and do all this stuff, and then there's pirates.
Yeah.
Like what kind of? I mean, out of nowhere, there's pirates going around the oceans. I mean, they're not scared of the Fire Nation like that. They're not scared of the police or nothing.
Just like here, it doesn't matter how much power you have. There's always going to be somebody who's like, I think we can skirt around this.
And they don't necessarily have any bending. We don't see them bending.
Yeah.
So like within a world of bending, they're still like, we're still bad guys.
And they were carrying around a very important scroll that nobody's doing anything with. So,
and let's not forget, they did capture the Avatar.
I appreciate you being the one to say that.
I don't. It's
I
upsetting
appreciate
to
that.
me.
I know, but I mean, you're giving them the credit when
I don't
Zuko
care.
was not able
they
to.
had a net, Ethan. They had a net. They caught the Avatar. And I'm like, are you serious? These pirates caught the Avatar?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they got robbed by a waterbender named Katara.
Katara could not be more comfortable for stealing that scroll.
PSA to all the kids out there, don't steal anything from the pirates in your neighborhood. It's not
a risk.
It's not a good thing to do. Just don't steal it.
Yeah.
Even if you think it's yours for whatever, it's not yours. Don't steal it.
Got it. Let's talk for really quickly. I just also want to give a shout out to George Takei's warden in prison. Another very funny Uh,
Is this Uncle Warden?
annoying.
Uncle Warden?
It's not Uncle Warden.
It's the-
He's
oh,
the one
the
in
Warden, the
prison
original
with,
Warden.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Haru
yeah.
and I love that character. That's a very,
Shout
very
out to
funny
Georgia K.
character and a very fun, temporary, like one-shot adversary. Do you like the Warden, Ethan?
I actually like him a lot. Like he's so fun to like cheer against too, because he was like so mean. So I mean, like it was very, very funny at the end when he kind of got humiliated in that way. And yeah, he was actually probably one of my favorite adversaries, like in general, even though he is kind of like a one-off. Like
I
was
agree. I could
definitely
have
a little
watched
bit
him
different.
for a long time. And there's always something so satisfying about the powerful person who is constantly exasperated by his underlings, right? I mean, that's sort of a
Right.
trope that is always fun to have, like the tough guy who's like, why can't you? You know what I mean? Like, I always love that dynamic a lot. I'm glad you like the Warden. I feel the same way. I could
Warden's-
have taken more of him.
And George, you got look at the names of
Legends.
the legends that they have for our adversaries on this show. We're talking Jason Isaacs. We got
Yeah.
George Takei. Now
Yeah.
we're going to Long Fang.
We got to talk about Long Fang. I mean, Clancy.
Clancy Brown.
Talk about a chilling voice.
Clancy Brown, another one with it. Just when he opens his mouth, you're like, ooh.
Oh yeah, he's up to no good. What do you think about Long Fang? And we can lump in the Dai Li, I guess,
And
with
the
that
Dai
too,
Li,
because here
yes.
we have
Yeah.
this sort of here's where we have Zhao, who I think is kind of in a decent comp to Long Fang, right?
Yeah,
in terms of
100%.
and so we have someone who's incredibly loyal to the cause at the expense of like maybe even stealing other people's cred, and then you have Long Fang, who's like kind of the exact opposite. It's like he's duplicitous.
Yeah.
He's kind of running things from behind the scenes. What are your thoughts on that, Ethan?
I actually love the dynamic of like the Dai Li. Like that's something that's very, very, I feel like unique to have like in a show, having like this almost like organization that's like kind of controlling things behind the scenes. And like I like that like aspect of where for the longest time in book 2, he seemed almost like unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like, he seemed
Yeah.
actually like he seemed actually like he could possibly accomplish something. And
Totally.
then of course
Great
like
point.
he wasn't even a player after, like as Azula says at the end. But like I enjoyed the aspect of him, like how he was very much like he was kind of pulling the strings, and like it kind of was kind of scary because for someone who sympathizes with the Team Avatar, that like he could almost like manipulate the Earth King in a way, in ways
Yes.
to like
100%.
yeah.
But the fascinating thing about Long Fang is, yeah, he was doing the thing, but he kind of justifies, and you kind of see why he's doing what he's doing for as far as for his people, for the Earth Kingdom, and how he's kind of doing.
Good point.
And so it's not necessarily fully evil. He's just trying to do this. He's trying to run it in a way that he feels is the right way for Bossing Say to be run. And then you really get the feeling when the Fire Nation comes in, when Azula comes in, she's like, you weren't even. You can see like, oh, he's not evil with like the Fire Nation doing evil things. He was just. It's just a weird gray area.
I hear you.
You
I mean,
know?
I think you're making it a little grayer than I think that it is.
I
But I,
mean,
hear what you're saying.
He
because-
went extreme on certain things,
Yeah,
for sure.
I
but-
mean, he was still sure when someone is that. It kind of reminds me of Sozin in the sense that it's like I'm pretty sure I know what's
Right,
best for
right,
my
right,
people, and that involves lying, cheating, killing.
No, of course,
you know
of
what I
course.
mean. But I understand what you're saying, and I do feel like
I
there's
mean,
that moment.
brainwashing.
Brainwashing, not great, never great.
Not good.
So many Judis. Some of those Judis could
Some-
be
how
doing
do
all kinds
they-
of other cool stuff.
I know. They're all
Poor Judy.
Judys.
But I agree with you, Ethan. When you see, you kind of have this one type of feeling about Long Fang, and then when Azula enters the picture, for me, very quickly, I was like, "Oh, Long Fang, you're out of your depth." Like I think maybe
Yeah.
you're out of your depth.
Well, he was just playing the one
And he
game
couldn't
of
see it.
Fire. I mean, of Earth Kingdom bossing. Not even, or all of Earth Kingdom, just bossing. Say that's the
Yeah.
game he was playing very
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
But then there's other
Well said.
players that come on that are like on the whole scale situation.
well said. Well said.
You were never even a player.
Look, these don't really belong in the adversary category. But Mei and Ty Lee certainly are adversaries for
They were
Team Avatar.
adversarial.
They were adversarial.
They did some things
for the group, and also like
that were not appreciated by Team Avatar for a good amount of time.
they were very worthy adversaries, right, Ethan? I mean, take us back to when we first see that trio, Azula and Mei and Ty Lee, taking on Team Avatar. Like, what were you? Do you remember? Like, I mean, I know you can't remember a time when there was an Avatar, so I understand if you're like, I don't remember the very first time I saw them, but just like walk us through those moments where you're like, oh no, 2 out of 3 of these people aren't even benders. Talk about that.
They were always nobody that I seemed to be like overly scared of. Like I feel like they were almost like not comedic, but like they were very much like people who I was never cheering against because they were characters
Right.
that I
Well
just
said.
personally liked.
Same.
And like they're also very powerful too. I mean, like it's very like
Very
especially,
powerful, very
the
competent.
yeah,
Chi
the chi blocking.
blocking?
I mean, that's like something that's like actually crazy in the Avatarverse. Like she's almost like
It's almost OP.
overpowered. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah,
Oh.
and like yeah, they almost made like, and they almost brought a side to Azula that was almost sympathetic too. Like,
Right.
They brought almost a nicer side to Azula too, which I think says a lot because she's a character that you like to hate. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when they betray her, you could see because they took the time to build up that relationship and make us think of them as friends. You can really see how
Yeah,
that
that
affects
turning,
Azula and how
that
that's
turning
like the
at
beginning and the
Boiling
end.
Rock is wild. It's really wild.
Absolutely.
Very surprising. Also, very cute. Like threesome there. I'd like to see them do an album like TLC. Like TLC
Yeah, I'm
or
into that.
something. They could be like the TLC situation. May, Azula, and Ty Lee. I think it would be a #1 record.
I'm sure you're right. They got a lot of skills. I'm sure they could bring it to an album.
I mean, May got that, got that voice like T-Bob's, a little raspy.
She got that wonderful rasp. Shout out to Cricket.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, I gotta. You know what? We're going out of sequence because we know that we already know that Azula's in play. But let's save Azula because I have a very strong feeling about how we're all going to feel about where Azula ranks in all-time
Yeah,
adversaries.
she's like,
Let's give a shout out to Buster, Combustion Man.
yeah, Buster Rhymes here. Combustion Man.
Another kind of straight ahead adversary, right, Ethan?
Yeah.
yeah, we didn't get much of his backstory, so I feel like he was very much like what I would consider like more of a villain than an adversary. Because I always think like adversaries,
Oh,
they can be more in the
nice.
they can be
Right.
more in the gray area. But
Love
like he
that.
didn't get much like sympathy from like showing
He's
any backstory.
gun for
or
hire.
anything like
We don't
that.
even know his name.
Can the Amagi do?
Exactly.
Have you guys done a Combustion Man backstory / how did he get so powerful? What's that thing on his head?
Great
how Did this
question.
come about?
Yeah, so there are a little bit of history in the novels where like they give a bit of background where I think they keep like the combustion benders underwater or something for like the pressure, something along those lines of like where they're pretty much like raised to be combustion benders. We can assume that that's what happened with him, but like they didn't really, especially at the time for watching the show, you didn't know much about him besides the fact that he showed up and he blew stuff up and he was pretty scary in that fact. So that's why I think he's more of like a villain where like I don't really like feel bad for like being afraid of him or like, I mean, there's like, for example, Zuko, like I don't want to hate him, but like for Combustion Man, like he's blowing things up. He's causing destruction. He's trying to like pretty much, I don't know if he's supposed to be killing. I think it's a no kill order, but like he's definitely destructive and like he's scary in that fact.
I don't feel like he was following that no kill order very well.
He
but-
was down to kill people, I think, and he was kind of doesn't have a great personality.
No, when we lost him, and we were talking about that with Tim Hedrick, one of the main writers of the show. I think we decided we gave a moment of silence, but it wasn't silence. We did a moment of angry grunts because that's kind of all we get from Combustion Man. So we did a lot of like,
Yeah, it's hard to like dig a guy that's personality's not great, and
He's not great.
and he's got long range firebending. He's a long range firebender.
I'm so glad that you kind of made that determination because we hadn't really brought the word villain in, and a lot of the times it is because we don't want to oversimplify these complex characters, and so when it fits, as far as we know, now listen, there could be some
So
kind of
Combusty's
his personal
villain.
backstory. We don't know. Maybe there's something
don't
that would bring
know.
us some empathy
Maybe
if we
his
knew
name
it.
is
But
maybe his real name is like
Larry.
Larry. And he didn't want to be
Poor
a combustion
Larry.
man, and then his mom put him in the water for a long time. It's weird. I don't know about the whole water thing. Maybe the waterbenders are helping the combustion man be more combusty. There's a
Gotta read the
whole
books.
tribe of combustible people.
I guess so. I mean, there were. I know like the novels they take place before the original series, so I'm not sure if they're still around at that point. But there were multiple of them in the novels. Yes.
Combustion.
yeah, nobody wants to be underwater. But I agree. He's a villain. It's fair to
Spontaneous
say.
combustion.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about Sozin? Like now, when we're talking about villains versus adversaries, we see
a villain.
and we understand a
He's
lot.
a villain.
See, we see. So, what do you think? Ethan?
He's
'Cause we
family, but
see
he's a
more
villain.
Of his backstory. We see more of his choices. We see him growing into. The
We don't
person
like
he
him doing
is.
not one thing. There's not one thing he ever did that any of us liked that he did anything.
Do you agree, Ethan?
Ooh, so that's hard because you do get his backstory, but like I don't think he had much justification for what he was trying to
No.
do, though. I feel like, because like his justification was like, oh, we gotta like help the rest of the world by like conquering it. So I feel like there's different levels of like backstory causing sympathy, and like his backstory, it gave more than like Combustion Man, like a little bit more sympathetic, because he did like obviously he cared for Roku. I mean, I guess
Almost
a little
makes
bit.
it
I
worse,
mean, they were
though. It
friends.
makes
I guess
it
when they were
worse.
Yeah.
younger, he was cool. You thought they were cool. I mean, they did make it like they were cool, and then he's not cool.
It makes it worse because you see this
Yeah.
disintegration of his humanity, like in slow motion almost.
Oh, he's a jerk.
I don't care for him. What about Ozai?
No, Ozai, not one hand.
Ozai's the product of
Ozai,
this line
not
that
one-
has begun, though, with Sozin.
So at least Sozin, we saw some nice stuff when him and Roku were friends growing up before he kind of lost it. Ozai, we don't see anything.
But can you be objective about Ozai?
No.
It's too close to home.
I don't like him.
Ethan, what do you think about Ozai? You're not Ozai's son, so what do you
Okay.
think?
So this is probably a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but I think Ozai is, well, first of all, I think he's more of a villain because he really did not show
Definitely
like any gray area,
Zero
like anything
gray
at all.
area.
They give a little bit of backstory, but I feel like for the most part, he's almost like a cookie cutter villain, where he showed up like for like every few episodes, give a villain line.
Yeah, why is he
for,
so
like half the
mad?
season. Yeah, and then he shows up and he's like a big boss battle at the end. Like I feel like he did not make many appearances, and like he just was kind of like a standard villain. He's definitely like not sympathetic like at all. And because of that, I would personally classify him more as a villain than even like an adversary, because like I said, he's pretty like black and white. Like he's very much just a villain.
He's a villain.
And yeah.
I'm going to agree with that.
Yeah, I am too, because he doesn't do anything nice at all for nobody.
You could say he actively does very bad things, including to his own child.
Yes.
Yes.
So
I mean, he's cool
he's
with
not. I'm
he's
not
cool
cool
to
with him
Zula every night. He was cool with me for like a hot second.
for a second, but it never felt. There's no love there.
Genuine. And then he did my mom wrong. It's just a lot of stuff going on that's like
Not into him.
he needs some therapy.
We're not into him. Okay, so now let's kind of get we touched on it with a few people, but let's get into some of these characters who it's like adversaries ? Like
Right.
where they're coming from may not even have really much to do with Team Avatar as
Right.
we understand them if we're thinking of them as our heroes.
Right.
And they are people who come from some sort of background that makes sense, or you could think of them as kind of morally flexible, or
Right.
it's just kind of a just doing my job type thing, which I think is worth touching on as far as like, does that
Who you
make
thinking?
Does
Who
that
you
justify?
thinking?
Well, first I just want to give a quick shout out, plug your ears
To who?
to my girl Hama.
Not Hama.
I'm just saying I don't think she's a villain in
I don't
the
care.
conventional
She's
sense.
not.
Uh-oh, Ethan does not agree with me. Think about what she
I don't
went
know.
through. Think about
That's
the fact
true.
that she is
That's
not
true.
mentally. I don't feel that she is mentally accountable on the same level that
I
someone
don't
like
care.
Ozai is. She
true.
is. She is extremely mentally damaged. We know what like long-term imprisonment can do to people.
All that is true.
especially if they haven't really done anything.
All
wrong
that's
to begin with.
true.
So,
I don't
what
care
do you
if-
think,
I
Ethan?
don't
You
care
seem
for it
dubious.
too
Talk
much.
to us.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I personally think she's actually probably for me the scariest antagonist.
Me
She
too.
is
out of this
scary.
area.
I won't argue
Yeah.
with that. She's very
Because
scary.
like you're introduced and she's like a nice old lady.
No,
and then
she's not.
obviously like you kind of feel like there's something off with her, but then it's revealed that she's a waterbender. So then you're like, okay, maybe that's why I'm getting like those weird, uneasy feelings around her. And then seeing like someone who is
Oh,
like,
this is for
the
you
first
who
half of the
doesn't like
episode-
water. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like,
Well,
what
I
do you
hate
mean
water, too.
uneasy feelings about a waterbender? I
No,
forgot.
but I mean, no, I mean, because like you didn't know she was a waterbender. She's in the Fire Nation, so
Right.
like I was like, maybe that's what's off about her. Like maybe that's like what's up with her. But then like you figure out that she's like first of all like attacking Fire Nation members. I don't know if they're all firebenders. And then like she's also like created this whole new. I don't know if she created it, but she's definitely the first person in I think the lore of Avatar that like bloodbended. So I mean like that was completely out of left field for me. Like that was scary, especially because
Yeah.
bloodbending in general is like a very scary and dark art. Though like I get it, like she had a little bit of justification, but then again, we are introduced to like to that town a little bit, and like you mentioned at the beginning of this episode, like not all Fire Nation members are evil. Like I don't know if like that town really were deserving
Oh,
of
they
being
weren't.
like blood
No, they
or
weren't.
bloodbended.
They weren't.
So
they
and
weren't.
yeah.
I'm not saying that she made the right choices. I just think
No.
she's more
Yeah.
damaged. I mean,
Yeah.
let me give you an example. And I know that listen, don't
Huh?
at me. I know you're gonna at me.
You
That's
see,
fine.
okay, everybody
like,
out there listen to the
no,
podcast.
I'm
and while
just
people's like, you know how they
saying-
say, I'm like, an apologist for the Fire
I'm
Nation.
not apologizing.
We're hearing some apologists
I'm
for,
not
for
apologizing
waterbenders
for
out there,
Hama.
but keep going.
I'm not apologizing for Hama. I'm just saying, imagine a situation, okay, in which a certain someone, we know that a certain other someone was imprisoned in an
Right.
environment that made it impossible for her to escape.
Right.
Imagine that she did not figure that out and figure something out faster. Imagine that she was imprisoned for ever. She was imprisoned for years and years and years.
Right.
And then she finally figured out how to metal bend.
Right.
But by then she had become so psychologically damaged that the stories that would go around about her would be like, oh my gosh, this earthbender learned how to bend metal and then she just destroyed everyone with it because she had been she was in the space where she was left to herself to just let her mind unravel and kind of become
No, I
crazy.
get it.
Like if Toph, and again, I am not saying that Toph would have turned into Hama, but I am saying like there are moments, there are crossroads in the
Yeah.
show where you could possibly imagine someone with that kind of power being isolated in a circumstance in which they kind of lose their mind and then their power
Yeah.
becomes very dangerous, even as they are using their lost mind to figure
Yeah.
out how to manipulate this material that before they didn't realize they could do. Is that crazy? I'm not apologizing for
No,
her.
I feel you. I feel
That's
you. All
not
that,
crazy at all.
That's not crazy. I feel all that. It's just that the way we're introduced that whole episode of Hama and
Oh, she's totally scary.
it's super.
No, she's super creepy.
I'm good.
She's
I'm
super
good on
creepy.
all that.
She's
I'm
super
good
creepy.
on Hama. I don't.
But
need-
I just have a level of. I'm not saying I'm not apologizing for her because I wouldn't change anything. I mean, I wouldn't like give her any outs at all, and I would change her having hurt people. But in a sense of like, you see how, and I am going to bring him up right now. Jet makes his decisions based on the damage that he has in his heart
Jet,
and mind.
you know, we don't know.
You
Jet.
know, how do
Jet,
we feel
don't
about
know.
Jet? How do you feel about Jet, Ethan? He also is looking to kill a bunch of innocent
Great
people.
fashion.
What do you think about him?
Great fashion sense. Good
Yeah.
guy.
I mean, Hama, like, at least I don't think she actually like was for sure killing people. I mean, like, obviously she might have.
She was
like,
tying
might have.
people up. She had people tied up in a
Yeah.
cave
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
mountains.
It
but I
wasn't
mean-
great. It wasn't great.
Yeah. So I mean, like, Jet at least, like, he was outright trying to kill people. So I mean, like, but then again, he was given a little bit more character development and a little bit more screen times, which I
We
think is
didn't
part
know
of
who was
why
gonna
I'm
die
a
or
little
not. He
bit
was
more
gonna flood out. What, he was gonna flood out a city?
I mean, I feel like he was the one who said people were going to die. So it's not like he didn't
Yeah.
think that was going to happen.
No, he knew. He knew. Yeah,
He's like,
which is
we're
why,
just gonna
like,
do this.
yeah.
We don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm sure no one will be around. It'll just be the
There'll be a little
village that gets
bear,
a
the little
moist.
girl looking at a bear,
It's
get
going
all
to get a little wet.
wet. Everyone's just gonna wet everybody up.
Yeah. Do you feel like
Oh, gosh.
Jet redeems himself? Does he have the opportunity before something bad happens to him?
I feel like he did. I mean, like, he had the whole moment where he was helping Team Avatar. He was like revealing what was happening behind Ba Sing Se. I mean, if he would have killed people, like, I don't know if that would have been enough. But I feel like since he was thwarted and like you kind of saw like the borderline torture, if it was torture. I mean, it pretty much was torture to
Brainwash.
him.
It was definitely brainwashing, right?
Yeah, like you definitely feel bad for him, and I mean, I don't know.
Is he
It's kinda
dead? Is he
50-50.
dead? Is he dead,
I
Ethan?
think he's dead.
Well, he was, and it's interesting too with him because it's like it has a lot to do with who you surround yourself with, and he was surrounded by kind of great kids, kind of great
Right.
folks who
Yeah.
maybe didn't have the same level of anger, but who were lost and who found each other and
Right.
who were given a sense of community, and they sort of existed together, but no one in that group was challenging Jet, was challenging his opinions, was challenging his plans.
A little bit. They said, I thought we were going to do that
did,
anymore.
they
They were
did.
like,
Absolutely.
we're in a
By
new
that
place.
point, absolutely. By that point, absolutely. But then you take someone like, Sokka and Katara are extraordinarily damaged as well
Right.
by what
Yeah.
happens in the Fire Nation, or by the Fire Nation.
It was a war.
And it was a war. But, here we see, like, who are the people around you that are helping you make decisions? Look
Right.
at Katara and her moment of truth where she had this opportunity to kill someone and... no shade on Zuko because has his own complicated story.
Yeah.
But it's
Zuko was down. Let's
Jet
do
did
this.
not have an Aang through his life
Yeah.
to necessarily be like, hey, what if we don't approach it this way? You know what I mean? He kind of isolated himself and then he didn't have anyone hardcore challenging him, so
Right.
he wasn't I also don't think that he was thinking rationally. And by the time a group
What
of
if he
people
fell
came
in love
to
with
him who
guitar? What
could-
if he fell in love with guitar and guitar was able to
I think she
heal his heart a little bit?
we can't change people. We can't expect to
There
change
was that
people, but she
moment,
would have been
though.
a good influence on him.
Yeah, man, not changing it, but a good influence on him, possibly.
Shout out to Jet. What about these
Or he could
morally-
be friends with
Yeah.
Zuko. They could have been like real good buddies and went around. And the goodness of Zuko might have gotten to
Okay, well, it would have
Jet.
to happen at a very specific point in time,
after they
and
robbed a few
and
people.
not a moment before.
After they robbed a few people and did some other things.
Let's talk about these kind of morally ambiguous people before we get to like,
Okay.
kind of the biggie. But like, look at June. Look at the
She's a bounty
Look at the
hunter.
Yuyan archers. Look at the
Very skilled.
I'll put those two together. There's a couple other people, but I don't want to like lump them in. I think those are two good examples of like just doing my job.
They're doing
What do you
their
think
job.
about that, Ethan?
Yes.
Do you feel like they are adversaries? Are they villains? Or are they just kind of like obstacles? What do you think?
Yeah. I feel like June, she's more of like just doing her job. Like, I feel like she's also like not, is she even like exactly aligned with the Fire Nation? I mean, she's kind of just like
Not
running
really.
around doing her own thing. She's kind of just for hire. So, and I don't think she's like ever doing anything like overly like killing, I don't think. So I feel like I view her more as like she's just doing her job. I don't feel her as like being
She's too good at it,
overly
though.
bad.
She can track
Yeah.
down anything. Her and the
Yeah.
Shirsu. I get it, and I agree with you. However, when they're doing their job on you, how annoying that is.
It feels
It's-
more personal.
Yeah, it's cool. Just do your job. But why are you doing it on me? Like, don't be doing your job on me. Go find somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm good.
There's only so many times you could be told it's not personal before
Are
you're
we
like, it's
good?
personal for
Yeah,
me.
For me. But she's cool. But come on, stop doing your job on me.
But it is, and like the Yuyan archers, obviously they are kind of under a certain employ.
Pretty good.
But it's
Yeah.
like they have this little community of like, we're the best. We're the best
How'd
at
they
what
get
we
so
do.
good?
And it's almost like it's like a mercenary where it's like
They're mercenaries.
you're so good at doing this
Right.
that you might need to check in with your moral compass a little bit.
They do.
Does that make sense, Ethan? Do you agree?
Yes, 100%. Like, first of all, yeah, they're a little bit different than June because like they're actually, I feel like they're a division of the Fire Nation, but like
Yeah.
they definitely like, I mean, they're following orders at the end of the day. Like they're kind of just, who knows what would happen to them if they like disobeyed in that regard too.
I would
So,
watch
mean, I
that
feel
show
like-
and I would read that book, by the
Yeah.
way. A single Yuyan archer who breaks away.
Like, how they get so good? I watched
Maybe
that
they're
show,
training
and
underwater.
I grew up had like a little toy bow and arrow, and I thought I was cool with it. I think
Yeah.
in my mind like that'd be a good
You thought you were an archer.
skill to have.
I get it.
I haven't tried
That's
it as an adult.
persisted.
I haven't
Look
tried
at
it as
Hunger
an adult.
Games and stuff. Yeah.
Hunger Games, I watched it in the Olympics. There's certain places you go. to those-
Hawkeye, yeah.
Hawkeye, he's deaf, so he's really good.
Uh-huh. Well said.
I'm gonna try to pick up that bow. You on Archer, maybe.
Here's something I'm going to bring up that it almost makes me feel sick to my stomach to bring up. I
Yes.
can't believe I'm about to bring this up.
What? Who?
And I know we're running out of time. How do we feel about the Seawong Sandbenders who steal Appa? Because I want to hate them with
They're-
every fiber of my being because it is personal for me with Appa.
They're sand pirates.
But are they intrinsically bad?
I mean, you can't. Yeah, because you can't just steal someone's animal.
Ethan, talk to us. What do you think?
It's like very personal in that regard that
Right?
they took Appa. It's very, and
But
that
it's
makes
not
it
for
almost
them.
like,
It's not, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It
You
almost
can't
feels
take
almost
an
like
animal.
biased, like giving an opinion on it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like they're probably one of the lesser, like, evilly motivated people. Because I mean, obviously they stole Appa. I don't know if they knew what was going to happen to Appa after the fact, but like, I feel like they were
Why
just
didn't
like
they
trying to
care?
survive.
I know.
I mean, they're trying to
I don't know.
survive,
It's very-
just
it's
maybe
very hard.
selling it because they can keep them. They sold them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the deal, though. Like, you can't steal someone else's animal. I mean, Zuko did it with the ostrich horse, and I'm not happy. I'm not proud of that. I'm sure.
You had to excuse that so
no, I'm not
fast.
excusing it. He sent them a stable
Yeah.
of ostrich horses when he became a Fire Lord. I'm positive. However, I mean, this is the deal. That's an ostrich horse. There's tons of them. There's no sky
I know,
bisons.
I know.
When you see a sky bison 100 years after they're
That's what
supposedly
makes him
extinct,
so
you
valuable.
can't- I know, but you can't. You know that's not
Yeah.
your sky bison. Who's sky
Yeah.
bisons? Like, I mean, you know the avatars around here. You just can't take the
I
sky
know.
bison. Like, it's like stealing from the big bad. Like, no one's gonna steal that guy's car because we know that guy runs the whole neighborhood. If you steal that guy's car, he's gonna come after you. You're gonna be in trouble. Don't
Yeah.
steal that. that? What's
Yeah.
wrong with you? Go steal something else. Go
Yeah.
steal a badger somewhere.
Or don't steal. Okay, so I had
Katara,
to get
don't
that
steal.
out.
Don't steal
I had to get
Katara.
that out and get you guys
Okay, yeah.
with me on that because I agree with everything you're saying, but it feels so personal. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
And they bested Toph.
yeah.
And they bested Toph, the goat of all Earthbenders.
I know that's a very painful series.
But
of
she's
episodes.
like,
It's a very
I'm
painful
never
series
gonna
of
get bested
episodes.
by a sandbender.
Never
ever
again. Never again.
I'm a
Sometimes you
master of
learn
that
from
sandbending.
sometimes you learn from your adversary. Sometimes you get better because of your adversary. Quick shout out to General Feng. Not a fan, but understand why the sense of urgency with like, oh, we'll just get you connected to the Avatar state real quick, and then you'll wreak massive destruction. It's a panicky response.
It's weird. I know that's just again. These are like
Yeah.
things that people are doing not out of evil intentions, but out of their
Yeah.
own whatever.
Yeah. Do you agree with that, Ethan?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously Katara wasn't hurt during that. So, I mean, like, he was tricking people into thinking that, but I mean, like, he wasn't actually harming anybody. And, like, he obviously was doing that because he was trying to put a very fast end to a long war that has killed many people in the process. He's trying to, like, he has the best intentions. I mean, I'm sure everyone in their own perspectives has the best
Right.
intentions.
Right.
But, like, I feel like he has even more better intentions than some because he's is he an animal or general or whatever he is, he's definitely had firsthand experience with like the destruction that the Fire Nation has
Right.
Yeah.
like did. So like he clearly had good intentions.
Yeah. I agree. I
Right,
agree.
right.
Quick shout out to, and this is a little meta, but quick shout out to the theological adversary of Aang's own love of Katara or his own fear holding him back, his own chakras being blocked.
Yeah.
That's a type of adversary, and because of what happens in Korra, I just wanted to acknowledge that sometimes the most intense adversary is yourself.
Is yourself.
Right?
Let's
Look how deep I
Sometimes.
went. Look how deep I went.
Sometimes,
Ethan. Are you
always.
impressed?
Oh, I'm impressed.
I'm impressed.
I mean, you are the Avatar.
But let's get simple again. Zuko, we could talk about Zuko forever. We all know where he comes from. I feel like we've all
Right.
and we know where he ends up. I don't want to rush to past Zuko. So if you guys have stuff you want to say, because we know where we're all going. I feel we're going to finish with some Blue Lightning.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, for sure. We're gonna finish. Zuko's cool. He's an adversary. Obviously, to see him change is like the magic part of the show. So you rarely get to see any character go through such a detailed kind of redemption.
Yes.
You know, and I think I don't know. I think that's the reason I got a lot of the audience, a lot of the world fell in love with Zuko because I think that's all of us. Like no one's good, bad. We all want to be redeemed for something. We'd like to think that we can change. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the magic, right? To actually change is really magical, which you don't see a lot of. Like the good guy's always the good guy through the whole thing. The bad guy's the bad guy the whole thing. But to see someone really change and see how they change, I
Yeah.
think, is the cool part of the character of Zuko.
Does that speak to you, Ethan? Do you like that?
Yeah, 100%. Like he had a very, very fleshed out redemption arc, pretty much from like book one. Like they were always giving his like side of the story as well, which I could tell they were leading up to like him joining the good side.
Oh, you could
And,
tell.
like-
This one could not tell.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, really?
No, I wasn't.
Well, I mean, like you never
I was
were,
in
like,
it.
made to hate him though. Yeah. Because you're always showing his side of the story, and like he had also very like many moments throughout book 2 and even book 3 where like he had a very like fleshed out redemption arc. Like he went through like I don't even know what to call it, but you know during like book 2 and Boxing Day he like went through like I don't know was it like a detox or like the sweats or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the fever
He was
of
already-
evil had to come out,
Exactly.
kind of.
Yeah, so I mean he had
Yeah.
a very fleshed out story, and then obviously he faced his father to like join Team Avatar. Like he
Right.
had a very
But even after that, he
I
kind of
can
went
say,
back
yeah.
to the.
I know.
I mean, he goes back and forth.
Mhm.
That's the thing. He went back.
It makes us crazy, but that's also part of the
After
process.
all
It's never.
that.
It isn't just like pure clean, like step, you're done. But I will say, forever, one of my all-time favorite moments in the show is the Blue Spirit saving Aang. And then the moments
pretty
that
cool.
follow that. To me, that is, speaking of like, when do you know that something's possible?
Right.
For me, that still is like an anchor that I hold on to between Zuko and Aang that I just love. I just absolutely, to me, that's one of the most
That's great.
brilliant pieces of storytelling in
It is
history.
cool. That is very cool.
I love it so much.
So
So how about Azula?
how about Azula? How do you
everybody?
anchor? About Azula? Is Azula anchor anything to you?
Let's talk about Azula. Ethan, lead us in. Let's talk about
How do
Azula.
you feel
Is she
about-
the best adversary
Yeah.
in the show?
I think like personally she's my favorite adversary.
Of
So
course,
she's the
me
best
too.
one. Because like first of all, I don't know how to explain it. Like she's very like like she does such random things that like you never know what's gonna happen next. Like her attack in Iroh, like I was not expecting that. Even like her striking down Aang, like in the end of book 2,
Right.
like that was somewhat unexpected too. So like when she's in the room, like the most random off the wall thing can happen, which just makes it like a good adversary because it's just you're always on the edge of your seat. And then also she's also like, I don't want to like this might be over exaggerating, but I feel like she's like very powerful and like she almost like at almost any given point where she's in the show, she could have probably won. I mean, that also keeps you very like on your toes because like at any moment, like if Aang and Team Avatar didn't like just fly off on Appa, like they could have most likely lost to her. I mean, she's just very powerful.
Hey,
So-
hey. She is pretty powerful,
Yeah.
but she has weaknesses, friend choices.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you can't bully
true.
your friends into your team, or they may turn on you.
They might remember that.
They
yeah.
might remember that. You know, like love and fear are two different things.
Yeah.
You know, people coming for the love or people coming for the fear.
Yeah.
Two different things.
What's
So-
your thought on like, is she just bad and is that okay? Or is she damaged?
She's
and
damaged
could she
for
have
sure.
Been,
She's damaged.
Could she have turned out differently? Could she have gone down a different path? Like if she had
Yeah.
an Uncle Iroh?
Yeah, she was very much left to her own, like throughout most of her childhood. She had like, I don't know if it was justified or not, but she had this fear of obviously not being loved by her mother. And like that obviously did play like a big part in her mental instability because it was definitely shown towards the end of the series that like that was affecting her. And like she was pretty much because Zuko also like maybe Zuko could have reined her in a little bit, but you know, he was off doing his own thing too. So she was very much left alone at the palace, kind of like just surrounded by just Ozai pretty much, like the big bad.
She might have
So, I
lonely
mean-
too. Lonely might have been hanging out with her
They might not have been a great influence.
because they were around her too. Like, they'll be like telling the twins
That's
were
true.
telling stuff, which are not good either.
No.
And yeah, she got so good. She started relishing in the evil, I think.
Like, why is she so good at being bad?
yeah,
When Zuko's
she's so bad at
wondering
being
why.
good.
Yeah.
She's so good at being bad.
Yeah. I don't know.
She
you guys.
likes it.
It's tough for me because I hear what you're saying, Ethan. I do. And I know that we don't spend a lot of time with young Azula. My concerns are that she seems to enjoy hurting animals.
Too much.
That's not a good
Yes,
sign
yeah.
in a child. And my concern is, and I know that people are gonna be mad at me because I love Azula. I do. And I love Azula as an adversary. And
She's
I think
one of the
she's
best.
like the best. But I don't know how much Ursa could have Ursa comes off as
Yeah.
such a compassionate person to me that if she could have given Azula the love that Zuko was receiving, she would have. My concern is that there wasn't anything there. It wasn't getting in. And that's why. And look, Azula can be hurt by feeling like her mom knows she's a monster, but that doesn't make her not a monster. Do you know what I mean? Like, of course you're going to get your feelings hurt. You're going to be scared. You're going to be mad. You're going to be hurt. That doesn't mean you're a good person and you're thinking about other people's feelings or you're thinking about
Right.
how could I have been different so that things could have turned out differently with my mom. Everything is always everyone
She's got
else's
too
fault.
much.
So that's my concern with thinking that Azula could have come out differently. I'm not saying that certain circumstances could have turned some of that down and turned something
Maybe.
else up. And I think that her friends are a good influence on her, but I just
No.
don't know if at the core is there enough there.
You're saying she's
there
the bad
for
seed.
her to be a good
She's the
person.
bad seed.
I mean, I don't want to
She
oversimplify
could be the bad
it,
seed.
but
The thing is, she's too good at every. Like she's first of all that end of book 1, they just show her and she has a little smirk on her face,
she's a good smirker.
and you're like, damn, she's a smirker. And then she's like this rich girl, powerful girl, and just happens to be top tier, like firebender in the world. It's over. It's done.
Yeah. But that's kind of what, for me, how much she might not be redeemable is kind of what makes her so special, so powerful, and such a great adversary. So,
And
I'm okay
brilliantly
with it.
talking about Grey DeLisle, talking about voice actors,
Brilliant.
brilliantly played by Grey DeLisle.
Brilliant.
All time great.
yeah, amazing, amazing character. Ethan, oh my gosh, I feel like we did it. Do we feel like we've, I guess I said it. I definitively said it. I think you did too, Ethan. I think you did too.
Yeah.
That we feel like Azula,
Yeah.
no surprise to anyone. We
Yeah.
didn't do this because we thought we're going to have an upset, but we feel like Azula
Less
is the best
competitive in this
adversary
than I
in
thought.
the
Less
show.
competitive than I originally
Yeah.
felt.
You did all right. There was some shouting.
There was some shouting.
But that's how sometimes.
I mean,
That's how
don't
you
bring
get to-
Hama into the
You
conversation.
get to a good
Don't bring
conversation.
Hama!
I didn't even do it to like get at you that time. I genuinely wanted to have a conversation about it. Ethan, thank you so much for having this conversation with us.
Thank you, Ethan. So fun hanging out.
Oh my gosh. Will you remind everyone about the Amagi? Where else, if anywhere you would like people to follow you, check out your stuff, anything else you would like people to know?
Cool. Yeah. So the Amagi is my YouTube channel. We're on Twitter, Instagram, both under the Amagi as well. And we also produce content for a couple other channels too. So Channel Frederator is another channel we run. The Leaderboard, Stanley Presents, like to name a few. We all
Very
kind
cool.
of make the same type of content, just with different, niches like gaming's for Leaderboard and etc. So yeah. So I mean, if you are into any of those things, like for sure check them out.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I'm sure most of the people that are listening to this podcast have seen quite a few of Ethan's videos, but check it out. It's so good.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks again for joining us, Ethan. And thanks again to all of you for hanging with us for another episode of Braving the Elements.
Thank you guys so much. See you guys later on.
That's right.
Did you know you can hear bonus episodes of our award-winning podcast?
Subscribe to Avatar Braving the Elements Premium on Apple Podcasts for early access, exclusive content, and ad-free episodes.
I'm so excited!